very reminiscent of the mono green food deck that we saw be played quite a bit in standard before Kaldheim was released in the last format, as it were. It's gotten a bit of an update. It now has Bonecrusher Giant and Embercleave in it, but the core package of the deck remains the same, and this deck is playing a lot of cards that are particularly good against mono red. Wicked Wolf, Bonecrusher Giant, Elder Gargaroth, Feasting Troll King, just food in general are all extremely good against this red deck, as you have many ways to stabilize the board and then gain life back and not get burnt out. So
Yeah.
this mono green, this Gruul Food deck, there were only 4 copies in this tournament, but in this top 8, this is a really good matchup for you.
It is, and we all know, Monty, life gain is cheats, and this deck looks to do plenty of that. So let's take a look at the opening hands here. Not too bad here for Riku Kumagai, and also pretty darn good for Mori as well. Would have hoped to have found an untapped green source to get a turn 1 goose down, but alas, the cards weren't in his favor this turn around. But still, a very nice 1-2 punch here with the Kazandu Mammoth into a great henge potentially on turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, the awkwardness from Mori's hand is not having an untapped green source on turn 1, not being able to lead off with this goose. But other than that, this hand is excellent. So certainly not much follow-up awkwardness after that initial little hurdle.
Fireblade Charger, the first creature on board, gonna get swinging. Fabled Passage is the draw here for Mori, as he's now able to deploy his goose. Let loose the goose, is what I say. And just get in the way of this little Fireblade Charger. But knowing that, Bonecrusher Giant and Stomp's a thing, the goose will probably not survive. So perhaps thinking of another line there. Gilded Goose is going to come on down, though, and make that food token.
Yeah, if Mori had a forest, I think there were other considerations to make there, because there is an excellent line where you leave up Stomp on turn 2, try to get Mammoth down on 3, and then use Fabled Passage to get the Great Henge down on 4 before ever playing the Goose. As it stands, because he was missing that third untapped land, that line was risky and not something he would ultimately opt to go for. He can get things back on track with this line, but this goose is not long for the world, thanks to those 2 copies of Stomp over on the other side.
Oh, Bolt the Bird, Stomp the Goose, whatever rendition of that you're familiar with, that is exactly what happened there, as Bonecrusher Giant takes care of the little ramp slash food generator. A Frostbite drawn there, 3 snow sources, and that leads to 1 dead mammoth, if I'm not mistaken, Money.
That is very much 1 dead mammoth, and it needs to be 1 dead mammoth because Riku cannot afford for the Great Henge to come down. Excellent draw for him, as if the Great Henge comes down on turn 4 against Mono Red Aggro, that's 2 extra life a
Ooh.
turn. That is no shortage of gas, and that is disaster.
Yeah, pretty much lights out in that instance. So great pickup there for Kumagai, being able to take care of the mammoth. Here comes the Rimrock Knight. No need for Boulder Rush. Just trying to get down as many threats as possible, get swinging, and hopefully get rewarded with an Embercleave off the top.
Yeah, Riku was doing a pretty great job of stabilizing there, but Lovestruck Beast off the top, excellent here from Noriyuki, as now he'll be able to play both Heart's Desire and Lovestruck Beast, and unless Riku has a way to remove it, which he currently doesn't, and
Ooh.
there's no necessity for Riku to walk into a way where it dies, the Great Henge is coming down next turn.
It sure is. And even with good old Torbran here, presenting a bunch of damage with these little critters, you got to think that Mori is protecting that Lovestruck Beast with everything he's got.
Yeah, very likely. If Riku plays Torbrand here and attacks with both creatures, we may see Mori just put the 1/1 token in front of the Fireblade Charger or the Knight and take the extra damage. With the Knight, you're only taking 3. If you block the Charger, you're risking taking up to 8 damage, which is quite a lot. Not really something you're in the market for, but I don't think what we will see is Lovestruck Beast being put at risk.
Yeah, that card is just so important at cheating out the powerful artifact for cheaper. So the play here is going to be Torbrand, Thane of Redfeld down on the battlefield. And no
No
attack,
attack.
pass the turn back. Ooh, Kogla the Titan Ape. Nice.
Oh my.
It's time for monkey business.
I think it is. I think we may just see a castle activation into Kogla here. You don't really need to bother with the Great Henge if you could just remove Torbrand and get the 7-6 down on the board. That is a pretty darn
Uh,
perfect draw there from Noriyuki Mori. And now I'll attack. Your Ribrok Knight can't block. This is such a bad matchup for Mono Red.
and all the people who've ever been beaten by Mono Red are sitting there celebrating, I bet.
Yeah, just rejoicing as the giant ape comes out and takes
Yeah.
a big old slap at Torbrand. Get
So
out of here.
decides against the attack there because the Fireblade Charger can ping down the little 1/1. So heads up read there from Mori, just keeping the attacking abilities of our Lovestruck Beast online. Now we can play the Great Henge for 2. That's much better than 4, right?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I love free cards. And the
Me
Great Henge coming
too.
down on 2 and making 2 mana essentially makes it a free card.
It's the gift that keeps on giving us now. This followed Bone Crusher Giant, which, could smush something out of the way here, is, in essence, another free card, some life, and an extra counter on the battlefield.
Oh my. So
Da-dum.
there's a funny interaction here where Riku could use the Bone Crusher Giant and the Fireblade Charger to try to trade with this Kogla if he so chose, but Noriyuki would have the option of actually bouncing this
Yeah.
human token to his hand to make the Kogla indestructible, and that line would not work. So we just see a block by the Charger, get rid of that 1/1, and hope to strand this Lovestruck Beast. But
Yeah.
now it's creature time. Great Henge is online, and pack at 20, draw a card, your move. I don't really need Lovestruck Beast to win this game anymore.
No. Frostbite, one of the ways to deal with this board somehow, some way. I mean, Kumagai's hand is still pretty good for being mono red. Usually at this point, it's like, okay, the entire hand's been thrown onto the battlefield and you're just top decking. But this is not a terrible hand. It looks not great at all when you look at what's on the other side of the battlefield.
Yeah, in most other matchups, this hand would be pretty exciting. It's just every other creature on the other side of the board is gigantic.
Mhm.
And yeah, Noriyuki is out of gas right now, but there's a Great Henge in play, so that's not going to last forever. The first creature that gets drawn could just link everything together with these draws.
Oh, yes. Let's see how Kumagai attacks this turn. He's looking at the Bone Crusher Giant to add some power to the battlefield here, with a Frost as backup to hopefully take care of Kogla the Titan Ape. There's a creature. All right, let's see how many we can get off the top here. I'm gonna guess 2 creatures.
2 more?
Yeah, after
All
this.
right, I can get behind that. 2 more seems reasonable.
Okay, let's see.
I'm hoping this ends on a trail of crumbs, so we have multiple avenues of activation. Part of the cool thing about this food deck is you just have so many different ways of just putting more and more cards in your hand.
So an option here to take care of this Kazandu Mammoth.
With the trigger on
Before
the
it
stack,
gets the
this is your
counter,
window.
yeah.
Well,
But
this
I don't
is
know. I think Kogla's more of an issue here, honestly.
everything is an issue here,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. Everything is
It's
a bit of a
just not
problem.
getting better. All right, moment of truth.
Oh, well, that's okay.
All right then.
We'll take it. We'll take it. I mean, okay, it's not a
Kogla-
creature, but this is the next best thing, yeah.
That is 16. I've done the math.
Who needs math? Math is for blockers. The big old Titan ape
Oh,
grabs
my
the nearest
goodness.
stick and starts flinging it at Riku Kumagai's face. So the first game goes to Noriyuki Mori. Man, I will tell you, when I saw this deck at the beginning of the tournament, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Pretty neat. And I didn't think that it would do this well. I mean,
Yeah, I
Mori has
really
just been
don't know.
absolutely crushing it.
I don't know how it does against Sultai. We did see Noriyuki take down Shota in that previous match, but at least in theory, it seems like it should be a not great matchup. But, against this aggressive red deck, it looks incredible.
Oh, yes. I mean, Lovestruck Beast is the bane of every single aggressive deck ever, right? It's just, It's just a brick wall. It's like, oh, cool. The sad little mopey beast just getting in the way of my damage. Please get off the board.
Yeah, Noriyuki just making things better post board. We see a copy of Red Cap Melee coming in, 2 Fire Prophecies, 2 Akroan Wars. So, in case Riku thought the matchup was alright pre board, it just gets significantly worse post.
Oh, yeah. There's so many ways to deal with creatures in the sideboard here, so this is going to be another match filled with fireworks, I'm sure, as we are trying to find our second grand finalist between our lower bracket players. There's still several matches of Magic to go, so we're not there yet. But things are getting ever closer for these players who are fighting for their tournament lives. Let's get things underway.
This hand, not great. No Lovestruck Beast, no Bone Crusher Giant, no way to deal with an early creature. So certainly it could be much better for Noriyuki, but at least has some options here. And the big saving grace is Riku Mulligan. There's just a Frostbite, an Embercleave, and some lands on the other side. So very much able to take this game in his favor using cards like that Akroan War and that Wicked Wolf.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty nice sequence of plays here from Mori. You know, I can see a turn 2 Trail of Crumbs into Kazanda Mammoth, and then turn 4 Wicked Wolf, kill whatever's on the battlefield. At this point, it's just a Fervent Champion, so hopefully Kumagai can find something else. Now there's a Lovestruck Beast, so yeah.
That's something else.
This is going not great here for Kumagai.
Yeah, I think that may change the curve considerations here. Could have gone with Kazandu Valley plus Heart's Desire there instead. Just opting for the Trail of Crumbs, not walking into potential removal spells from Riku like those Frostbites, and really just hoping to get bigger and bigger here.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Kumagai's got in his arsenal too against things like the Lovestruck Beast is that Akroan War.
And it looks like
if he can draw a land, he's going to get another friend in his party.
If he doesn't, he has double Frostbite to remove that Lovestruck Beast should he choose to do so, but certainly he would like to Akroan Ward instead. He may consider doing it now because with a land, he would just activate Faceless Haven and attack for 6 damage, which is pretty tempting and gives himself more options. He can draw an Anax perhaps and play that. So this is a very safe line for Riku, and I do like this.
Yeah, and no 4th land off the top, so unfortunately won't be getting in with the Faceless Haven or getting the Akroan War or Torbrand down. So he is in top deck mode, in essence, needing to find a 4th land to unlock that hand. And on the other side of things, it's looking good here for Noriyuki Mori currently.
Yeah, this is how that play backfires. Now he had to do it to get damage in, but now he has no more answers remaining, at least at instant speed, to a creature that Noriyuki plays. So this Kazandu Mammoth can come down and feel somewhat safe. Next turn, he can play Wicked Wolf and sacrifice the food to it if he needs to take down this Torbrand. And in doing so, he has enough mana to pay for Trail of Crumbs, and that's how the game can snowball away from Riku.
No 4th land again, just a Bone Crusher Giant off the top. If we see a block here, though, Bone Crusher Giant can take care of this Kazandu Mammoth. But not keen on blocking this first striker here.
Yeah, Noriyuki just wants to keep his Kazandu Mammoth around. Hope to maybe draw a Great Hand if possible. That would be amazing. If not, he still has this Wicked Wolf. He still has his board, and I think he's still feeling good about this game.
Yeah. There's a Trio Triumph off the top of the library for Mori. Gonna go to the Cry Crown pathway, get that on the board. Is it Thievery time?
I think he's more interested in the Wicked Wolf just because he would get to use that Trail of Crumbs off of it as well and try to find his Great Henge. That's the card he's really digging for. He doesn't actually have to use it preemptively to fight this Bone Crusher Giant. He could just get rid of the Fervent Champion and just leave up the food for the Wicked Wolf to turn off attacks from Riku. That is a bit weak to the Akroan War, which is something that Noriyuki should be taking into consideration here. If he goes for this line and Riku has 4th land Akroan War, it's really risky. I think this is the safer play considering he should feel in a really good position in this game.
Oh, and there's Great Henge too. Trail of Crumbs doing what it does best, finding important permanents off the top of the library. And that's known information here from Kumagai. But one piece of sideboard tech that these decks do play is Soul Seer, which can deal with indestructible doggos, such as our lovely Wicked Wolf here. Doesn't have indestructible right now and can't get it anyway with the lack of a food, but is able to take care of those creatures when they do get up to shenanigans.
Yeah, Soul Seer can take down the Wicked Wolf, can take down the Kizandu Mammoth with
Mm-hmm.
the landfall trigger on the stack. As it stands, Noriyuki can't cast that Great Henge as long as that Wicked Wolf is gone, so he may just need to remove the wolf and hope that Noriyuki does not have the land to get the Great Henge down on the battlefield.
Yeah. Great Henge is just an absolute beating against an aggressive deck like Mono Red.
Yeah, we just see the sequence waiting in Noriyuki's hand. Great Henge, Scavenging Ooze, put a counter on it, draw a
Mm-hmm.
card, activate Scavenging Ooze, and Riku can't really interact with it.
Yeah, no, that's why we see the long pause here from Kumagai. He knows that the Great Henge is in hand and just passes the turn back and is like, all right, go for it.
Yeah,
Let's
May
see.
kill this mammoth with the trigger on the stack, make the Great Henge continue to cost 5 rather than 4, but Noriyuki should be pretty okay with this.
So there goes the Mammoth. Wicked Wolf remains. Great Henge is still going to come down. And we'll see Scavenging Ooze join the party and start munching on some graveyards. Or it could actually leave up the 3 mana for the Katria Triumph cycle.
I think Scavenging Ooze is more tempting here. You just get to develop it, draw a card. You can make it a 4/4, which plays around Frostbite if you want. And it, either way, it feels like you can't really lose this game right now if you're sitting in Noriyuki's seat.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kumagai, still hasn't found the 4th land, so is relying on this pair of Fervent Champions to get the job done. 4 points of damage coming in here. One more creature added to the equation would unlock the Embercleave, but as things stand, things do not look very good here right now for him. So cycle on the end step, finds another Katria Triumph, and another Forest.
All right, I think it is time to play the Scavenging Ooze, draw your first card, and see what you're working with.
Another Embercleave, one time. Let's go. Oh boy.
I think he did board out at least one Embercleave. Likely both in the matchup. Not exactly what you're in the market for. And
Yeah.
yeah, Noriyuki just deciding how he wants to use his mana, whether he wants to preemptively castle or leave himself with more options. That's a pretty
Nice.
perfect draw there.
Oh, nice. That's so good.
Get
Fire
rid of one of these
Prophecy.
extra
Yeah.
lands.
Yeah. Who needs all these lands? Kill a creature, draw a card. Seems like a good time. Wicked Wolf gonna get in there for 4 points of damage. Down to 7 goes Kumagai. And, I mean, what does Kumagai draw in the situation to get out of this?
Land is the start. You get to a Crowan War, the Scavenging Ooze, and start trying to attack in. But again, you're at 7. You're not really in a safe position regardless of what happens here.
It's looking pretty dire indeed. But land number 4 is a start. There's a Crowan War. There's Embercleave, which won't get the job done, so unlikely to see that. Torbran can make attacks a little bit awkward.
Torbrand, these Fervent Champions would attack with essentially representing 4 damage each,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be representing 4 damage into a Scavenging Ooze with enough mana to exile some creatures and a Fire Prophecy, so not quite good enough. I think it's definitely going to be starting with the Akroan War on the Scavenging Ooze. Taking the Wicked Wolf it may be tempting, but the problem is the Wicked Wolf is tapped, so you can't really rely on it as a blocker, and that means the Scavenging Ooze, here at least you're threatening to use it to block Mori's Wicked Wolf with it.
Yeah.
I think we should see Noriyuki start with a Ketria Triumph cycle just to decide how he wants to use this Fire Prophecy. Not really the highest priority to grow this ooze immediately. We'll likely want to Akroan War it back next turn anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what he goes with. He could just activate it and play it a bit slower.
Interesting. Gaining some life there. He is giving Kumagai a bigger creature, but I don't think he's too keen to attack into it on the next turn anyway.
He may be fire prophesying his own creature here. He's putting these
Oh.
triggers on the stack without letting them resolve. So he may be planning on putting 3 triggers on the stack and then without letting any of the counters go, fire prophecy on your own scavenging ooze.
Cheeky. I like it. So we get the life, we exile the cards, and we also don't let you have any fun.
Really cool technique here from Noriyuki
so cool.
Mori, and he's going to get heavily rewarded for it.
That is so cool. Finds a Bone Crusher Giant too to prevent the 4 points of damage coming through from these Fervent Champions. Very nice.
Fervent Champions coming on through.
Coming.
Well, Noriyuki Mori now needs 1 food to close out this game thanks to the stomp.
Boop.
Still playing it slow. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage. Can start off this turn by drawing a card and seeing what he has to work with. That would have been the food. He would have had lethal, but as it stands, I don't think he's losing this game by any means.
Oh, cool. Aldogogoroth. We're just going to keep dumping threats down here, and Noriyuki Mori is poised to win this game here against Riku Kumagai.
I don't think he's losing this game by any means.
No. I think he's sitting quite pretty at this point.
Yeah, with that Trail of Crumbs now as well, there's just everything he wants. There's nothing that Mono Red can do against this board, and this is why this matchup is so bad.
It's so rough. You got to feel for Kumagai being the lone Mono Red player. Gonna concede there to his countryman in Noriyuki Mori, and an absolutely incredible run so far by the youngster.